Hi Adie, so you've been with the club since the start of the season and we're now delighted to formalise your role. How did the initial move come about?
The initial move, well, obviously with Scott Bartlett and 𝗴𝗿𝗄𝗆, they both played for me in the past, so I've known them for a long time. And rather unexpectedly, in the summer, I was recovering from an operation, and they rang up and said they wanted to come and see me, and I thought basically they're going to bring me a bowl of fruit or a bottle of red wine. And when they turned up, they decided to ask me to come and help them. And feeling the way I was at the time, I wasn't too interested. But they came back a week or two later, when I was feeling a little bit better, told me about the project, and I became interested really. We talked about the football club and what the journey had been over the course of the last couple of years, which I was well aware of to a degree, although I hadn't seen many games. I knew what the two of them had achieved, and they were talking about the hopes for the future over the next couple of years, and particularly that next step, hopefully from Conference South ultimately into National League. And obviously that's something, promotions that we'd shared in the past between the three of us. So yeah, they started asking about that, and I gradually became interested. And I guess after a few meetings and then speaking to Ollie as well, I promised them that as and when I was reasonably fit, that I would turn up. And so I then came to a couple of pre-season friendlies, and we agreed that I'd stick around for a bit longer.
So for any supporters not aware, can you just provide a little insight into your coaching and your management career?
Yeah, so basically when I finished playing sort of at Western League level, I managed in the Western League going back to the late 80s, early 90s, and then moved into Southern League to manage at Cinderford, and then at 𝗴𝗁𝗱𝗂𝗆𝗃 in the late 90s, early noughties, and was there for a few years. And I moved to Bath as assistant manager to 𝗀𝗿𝗄𝗆 in 2003. And I stayed there basically, John left in about 2007, and I became manager then. And we took them really in that time then from Southern League over 4 or 5 seasons into National League. And ultimately after a few years in National League we came down again. We were always in the top half of the Conference South table for quite some time. And in that time we reached semi-final of the trophy, and had various years where we got into the first and second round of the FA Cup. And yeah, I left there in about 2017, and since then I've been mainly spending my time scouting, and hence this is probably the first time since Bath that I've been part of a management team. It's something I'm looking forward to.
The role is now officially technical director. What will this look like on match days and throughout the week?
Yeah, I think basically we've agreed that Scotty will be doing most of the work on the grass with Gary Warren, and early part of weeks really I'll be out most of the time looking, so under 23s games, various league levels, both above and below us where we are currently, and then as we get into training and preparing for a game later in the week, I'll be involved with them, and on match days. So most of the time, later in the week I'll be around here a lot. Early in the week I'll be travelling. So yeah.
You mentioned obviously you've been here since kind of the beginning of this pre-season. What are your thoughts on the players and the start to the season?
Well, firstly, I'd like to just say how the players and everybody in the club have made me really welcome, and I do appreciate that. I've really quite been taken aback by that, and it's been an enjoyable experience. The players have been good. They're very, very receptive. They listen. They've worked incredibly hard. I think the work rate, it showed in training and then coming through to match days where they worked very, very hard. And the result in football to date that we've seen in patches has been very, very good indeed. and it's taken me back a little bit to, you know, the standards they've achieved to date against some good sides early in the season, and it really bodes well for the next 18 months or so.
You've worked closely with Scott this season, obviously Gary with Paul and Totten. How do you feel that Scott and Gary will all complement each other?
I think, well, I think Scotty Rogers is to date obviously spent some time managing, a little bit of time managing, a little bit of assistant in coaching, and I think it's a logical next step for him, really, to graduate at this level. I think he's very, very appreciated by the players. He knows the game. He learnt the game as a player. His game from when he was very, very young, playing at Tiverton and then Forest Green, changed to the days later in his career when he finished at Newport, when he became a lot more, what should we say, a lot more direct in how he would play. But he knows the game. He knows the nuances of the game, and that bodes very, very well. And equally, Gary, you know, has gone through some really interesting leagues. He's been through, you know, from Southern League football, going through the conference, both at South and National League level, and then he's had a great experience in Scotland over quite a period of time, playing through the various levels there, and yeah, he's pretty wily. He was a real competitor, Gary, and to date, just watching his sessions, etc., he's taken that into his coaching career, and I think it's a really good balance.
During your coaching career, one of the players that you did manage in Bath City was Scotty Rogers. What was he like as a player?
What was Scotty like as a player? Well, he was, well, firstly, as a personality, he was one of the most valuable players in your dressing room. He was great with the lads generally. All the lads loved him to death in the dressing room, and he had such enthusiasm, which he took onto the park. He was a good footballer. He was good technically. Probably overplayed a little bit. He had a good engine on him. Got around, and yeah, I mean, I think he was with me for 3 years when we won the Southern League, and he was with me for a couple of years in Conference South, and yeah, he was a really valuable member of the squad, Scott.
And do you think he was management material back then?
I'm not quite sure about that. I'm not quite sure about that. I don't know. I mean, he certainly had a massive love for football, and he had the knowledge. But somehow, yeah, could I see him managing then? Possibly not, but he's matured a great deal.
And finally, as an experienced National League South manager, how impressive do you think that it is that Weston are able to compete with the big boys?
Well, I'm really impressed where they are at this moment in time. Dare I say it, we used to come back down here probably 10 years ago, and we used to look forward to the game and think, yeah, 3 points are in the offing. And we had a very, very good record at the time against Weston. But times have changed, without question. They're more than a match for anybody in this league at this moment in time. And you know, have got a great work ethic about them, and some really steely competitors. The back four's been magnificent, really, to date, and we've played some good stuff so far this season. So I think now the club has become very competitive at the level, and it will be really interesting to see where it goes over the next 2 or 3 years.
Great, thanks, Adie.
Thank you.